The new video game release, Guitar Hero RockSmith, goes way beyond previous Rock Band games. It takes gamers through the history of Aerosmith and its songs, along with a few from other groups picked by the band.
Hey, this is IGN. We're at the DJ Hero event here with DJ Shadow, and we're here to talk about the game. So, in DJ Hero, if you could just go over the few things that you think are most important that the game conveys about DJing, because most of us will never get the experience of really DJing with a lot of people. Sort of like how this makes that feeling possible for us.
First and foremost,
had to kind of choose a lot of music that was also had.
It's the late 2000s and the early 2010s. Everyone has at least one vaguely instrument-shaped plastic controller in their household because Guitar Hero is huge, and every publisher wants their hands in the vaguely sweat-smelling pie topped with coke that is the rhythm game genre. We got Guitar Hero, DJ Hero, Rock Band, Lego Rock Band, and the list goes on and on. But there is one game among them that's unlike anything else that was on the market at that time and has never been replicated since. RockSmith, published by Ubisoft for the PS3, Xbox and Windows, came out in 2011. Unlike the other rhythm games, RockSmith didn't aim to emulate what it's like to play an instrument. It made you use a real guitar with a real tone cable to play songs. RockSmith began as a project called Guitar Rising, a demo developed by GameTank and showcased at the 2008 Game Developers Conference. Later, Ubisoft saw the demo and tried to do what they do best and steer the entire concept, telling their San Francisco team to develop their own version of Guitar Rising. They purchased the technology used by Guitar Rising and brought over a few of their employees to work on RockSmith. RockSmith then came out to generally positive reviews and spawned a sequel named RockSmith 2014. Which was remastered in 2016. This is the version that we will be talking about today. Compared to the original RockSmith, RockSmith 2014 and Remastered has a lot of GUI and quality of life improvements that most notably remove the real tone cable requirements that was needed by the original game. RockSmith 2014 Remastered went on to be a cult favorite for gamers who also play guitar. While Ubisoft officially discontinued it and no longer releases DLC for the game, the community has found a way to add custom songs to the game, making it very much alive today. For this retrospective, I won't be touching any custom songs, as the base version of the game has more than 1,500 officially released songs, and that's more than enough for me. As for the reason why I'm using the based version of the game, you can no longer officially buy it, and even if you buy a key, you won't be able to buy the delisted DLCs. Getting the game to run could prove a challenge on modern systems, even though the game only came out 8 years ago. I wonder why that could be. Oh, that makes sense. Nowadays you can use multiple ways to connect to your game. You can buy a real tone cable, but these are not recommended since they can break very easily. You can use a mic to simply listen for the notes, kind of like Musician does. Or you can use my preferred way, which is to use an audio interface. Speaking of my preferred way, I should start this video how I am the least intended customer for this game. For one, I am not a beginner at the guitar. I have been playing for around 8 years now. 2, I have never used the pick before. I have been playing exclusively acoustic fingerstyle like Chet Atkins or Tommy Emmanuel. And third, my guitar, which is an Ibanez Micro Paul Gilbert Special Edition, is one of the rarest types of electric guitars, as it's a 3/4 size electric, not a full-size one, which could cause some intonation issues and just other weirdness when playing with this game, which was probably designed for full-size guitars. This game has 4 main modes to play. Learn a song, where you can pick a song and play through the lead, rhythm, bass, and sometimes the alternative lead of the song. Session mode, where you can set your backing instruments, key, tempo, and style to just jam out. Score attack, which is the same as learn a song, but you get scored and can be eliminated if you fuck up too bad. And Guitarcade, which is a collection of training minigames. Starting with learn a song, this is where you will spend most of your time. You can pick a song, then a part, and you try to get as good as possible at that song. Upon selecting a song, you need to tune and calibrate your guitar, which is necessary because the note detection is straight out of 2016. So you want to do everything you can to make sure it's as accurate as possible. This is the note highway, which is just a fancy tab. To me, who's been using normal tabs for years at this point, getting used to the note highway was a challenge, to say at least. In the middle of the screen you can see the chords and notes you have to play, speeding by at you. different strings being indicated by different colors of notes. You also have the intended ways to sound the notes displayed to you on the notes themselves, like bending and tremolo. One of the first things I have done when booting up the game was to flip the note highway so the layout resembles what I'm used to with tabs. After around 200 hours in RockSmith, I think I'm getting pretty familiar with this note highway setup, but it leaves a lot to be desired. Like being able to turn off the rewind sound whenever you are practicing a part, or being able to just get rid of the segments and practice whatever you want instead of having to stick to the blocks you see on top of the screen. Learn a Song first starts you with an adaptive difficulty setting, which I think is pretty garbage. The adjustable speed is very welcome, but the difficulty slider makes no sense. The game thinks it's better for you to learn a song with an entire section and notes missing, and then make you relearn the entire song the proper way, which I think is more work than just slowing down the game and learning the actual song at 100% difficulty. As for note detection, it's mostly okay. It can be very lenient and give you 90% scores on songs when you are barely even playing it as they are supposed to be. It's good practice to turn down the game audio and just listen to yourself play the song before deciding that you are good enough at it instead of relying on the percentage system. I had to learn the hard way that this game heavily prefers the use of picks. I would play songs well and not get any points for it all the time before switching to using picks. Once I started using picks, the same song suddenly started to recognize all the notes I was playing, so make sure you have some lying around. There isn't much to say about the Learn a Song mode despite being the best part of the game. You just pick a song, learn it in an intuitive way, and I got to say it's my preferred way of learning songs nowadays and I use it daily. Moving on to the session mode, there isn't much to it. You can just jam around and the game tries to back you up with generated music. I think something like this using modern AI could be really fun to mess around with, but here it's just lacking and lame. What I do like is the tone editor. You can completely customize your rack to make it sound like whatever you want it to be. You can even copy tones from songs if you want to sound like a specific Cure or Oasis song. Score attack is pretty much what it sounds like. You can play the song, get scored, and if you mess up 3 times you are out. On the hardest difficulty, the game goes into what's called mastery mode, where you no longer have the note highway, you have to play by memory. I think this mode could be fun, but the inconsistent note detection easily ruins it and makes you never want to touch it again. Guitarcade is really fun and one of the best features of the game, although not all of them are useful. String skipping is a great warm-up and it helps to improve your muscle memory, teaching you how to skip strings without looking. Same with the dog game, but instead it helps you fret better. My favorite is easily the Core Dead one, which is basically a whole S typing of the Dead type game, where you play chords to shoot zombies and go through levels. It's pretty easy, but it's very fun and it shows the amount of love the devs had for this game. That's pretty much all there is to RockSmith as a game. But what about as a learning platform? Well, I think it's a mixed bag. For one, it helps you keep learning songs and be motivated, which is great and very much needed for a beginner. But on the other hand, it can help you develop some really bad technique that will take years to reverse. The game basically doesn't care if you are fingering the chords the intended way, or if your picking is clean, nor does it care about strumming patterns, dynamics, accurate bends, or anything that cannot be detected easily by the note matching system. I think if you are a beginner at guitar, you should definitely use outside resources like YouTube videos while practicing with RockSmith. Still, the Learn a Song mode is basically a better version of Songster, and feeling like you are actually playing a song, not just a part in a song, is amazing. It keeps me and others coming back to the game day after day with its amazing song selection. Speaking of tracklist, the game launched with a pretty good selection of songs, but if you have the base version, or if you are willing to add free custom songs, you will never run out of songs. The official selection has classics from all genres like folk, blues, alternative, metal, jazz, even video game soundtracks. I would definitely recommend this game to anyone who is even remotely interested in music. The community is very helpful in providing support to setting the game up on modern systems. Ubisoft currently has a live service game called RockSmith Plus. As an official sequel up on their website, it is a subscription-based game with no good songs, missing features, a garbage UI, so if you really like RockSmith and want to give something back to modern day Ubisoft for some reason, you can buy a subscription to that. Otherwise, you can just get the base version.